Welcome everyone online, welcome everyone here in person. Lovely to have everyone here today, and welcome Madhav.
Hello.
Madhav made it from work here and in good time. So you've just been having a busy day today, Madhav?
Yeah, very busy.
Very
Lots
busy.
of emails and decisions and thinking and things going wrong, things going right, and you know, all those sort of kind of
Standard day,
yeah,
that sounds.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's kind of, it's nice to be over, I think.
Nice to be over, and looking forward to having a nice meditation to chill after that.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is probably the highlight of the evening.
So if you're here for the first time, hearty welcome. We will explain exactly what we're doing, and most importantly, we aim to have a nice meditate together. But what we thought we'd talk about, well, I forced it upon you, Madhav, is what is self-realization exactly. So that's the aim of having our nice meditation together is that we all have our self-realization and we get into that state that self-realization gives you. So we were talking about an article describing pretty much witnessing your life. So it's not that we are trying to avoid the pitfalls of life, but manage ourselves in the pitfalls of life. Would you say that would be what it is?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said earlier about me having a very busy, stressful, decision-based day. Life makes you or puts you under a lot of stress, and you feel like you've got to react to it all the time, and sometimes you feel like you don't have any control and things go wrong, you can't fix them, and you're kind of just frazzled. And meditating, particularly, and Sahaja Yoga meditation is one of the ways that you can witness it. And by witness it, I think that's an interesting term, but I think it means that you can accept it for what it is, and accept that the only thing you sometimes may have control of is yourself.
And it's identifying with a part of yourself more. So we're now splitting our personality, basically.
Or maybe getting closer to the part that's really us.
Yeah.
And by us, I mean, really is not the person that you say, when you say the phrase, I'm going to freak out if I have to deal with another decision. It's not that it's a different thing.
Maybe observing I.
Maybe the observing I, or the part of yourself that is comfortable and is relaxed and you don't have to worry about. And I think one of the terms that Shri Mataji, who you can see a little poster behind us, is a lady who started Sahaja Yoga. One of the terms she uses to describe it is the spirit. And if you see on that little chart, on the left-hand side of, that'd be great. On the left-hand side of that chart, on the chest.
There's blue sides.
There's the blue side, and there's looks like a little flame, a little purple flame. That's the spirit. And that's what we'd call that little I, or not really an I, but that little us.
And do you feel that we are aware of that spirit before we have our self-realization, or we can only have our awareness of our spirit once we've got our self-realization? And I guess, what is that as well?
I think that's the $10,000, the $64,000 question. I think in a way we can, because there is a yearning that some people have, or a desire that some people have, and they may not even know it.
Yeah.
To have something greater than themselves or bigger than themselves, or they're looking for something and they're not really sure what it is. And that's maybe how you recognize it. You recognize that you haven't got it when you don't have it. And then once you go through the process of self-realization, you recognize that you have got it. And then you want to connect with it. And then when you connect with it, you take on that, I think, going back to that witness state where you just see things, and that detachment where they don't affect you.
And so it's your observation of yourself. You go, I felt really bad about that. Or I reacted badly.
That part of me that's, if my name is Madhav, that part of me that's Madhav felt bad about that. But was that Madhav, that part of me Madhav who did it, or was that part of Madhav that had control over it? And if it wasn't, well, maybe it doesn't really matter. But if it was, well, I shouldn't feel bad about it. I should fix it and learn from it and move on.
Because I am actually the spirit.
Yeah, you're not that
Which
part
is
of
the eternal part of life.
Yeah, and I think that's really important.
Yeah. Which is what self-realization is connecting to that spirit of yourself.
Exactly, I think, and that's really important. And if I wind it all the way back, you're probably thinking like, what is self-realization and what's this process we're talking about?
Yeah.
And if you don't have to go up there to point at the chart again, but there's a little chart over there, and it has a little triangle. I don't know if people can see. We can zoom in on that little.
We'll zoom in on the chart.
Zoom in on the chart. And for people who've been here before,
it's a good reminder.
It's a good reminder. And if you're here for the first time, it's a good. You'll hear this reminder more often than not. Every time you come. Yeah. But that little triangle is called the Kundalini, and that is a Sanskrit word, which means 3 coils, I think.
And the pure desire.
And the pure desire. And we address it as mother because it's...
So it isn't an actual energy.
It's an actual energy, and it's in a little bone at the base of our spine called the sacrum bone. And within that little energy, as that little energy rises, it goes up. There's 3 little lines. There's a yellow one, a blue one, and a clear one. It goes up the middle one. And just for your background information, the yellow one is that right-sided. When I say right-sided, I mean kind of masculine and dominant and energetic part of you. And that little blue one is that kind of more kind of emotional or feminine part of you. And that's not to say that one's better than the other. It's just the 2 parts of your personality. But as that kundalini, that mothering energy, rises to the top of your head, and then you can see what looks like a flower with many colors right at the top, well, we call that the Sahasrara. And when it gets to the Sahasrara, it gives you your self-realization, and it connects you with your spirit, which is that little flame there, and it gives you a feeling of peace and comfort and relaxation, and it puts you in a state in which you can deal with things. And if you can't deal with them, you can accept them, and they'll just resolve themselves once you accept them.
Lots of people joining. Welcome, welcome. So shall we go through that process?
Yeah.
Of awakening that energy? So bear with us, everyone.
And did you want to do the process?
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you can take us through a meditation.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So that energy that Mara's just been telling us about, that we've all physically got inside us, to awaken that, we simply use our hands. So the idea being not to use our brain, but to use our hands. So we'll be using our right hand, that's our action side, on our left side, our desire side. So we'll be putting our hand at various energy centers or chakras. We'll start at the heart. We'll go down under the rib cage at the top of the stomach. We'll go to the hip, adjacent to that kundalini energy that Madhav was talking about, and we'll ask her to rise. We'll go back up again and affirm what we are, who we are. We'll go up to our neck. We'll say something here that'll clear that energy center. We'll go to this chakra here, and then we'll go up to the 7th one on top of our head and ask for our self-realization that we've just been talking about. And then that'll just automatically happen. So try not to think about it too much, just follow along. And for those of you who've done it before, you know the drill, just follow along and we'll get there without, we're doing things in order to do nothing so that that energy takes us into that state of meditation, self-realization. And we've got our shoes off, so we're in touch with the earth. We want to keep the elements on our side, keeping connected. And let's just close our eyes. And watch our breathing for a moment, just to bring our attention inside. So our 2 hands are open on our lap. You can see our breath is going in and going out. Let's just take our attention to our heart. Where the breath seems to be originating. So we can feel our heart is expanding on each of those in-breaths. And let's just place our right hand on our heart on the left-hand side. So this is the location of our spirit that we were talking about. But let's just ask from our small person to our big person, ourselves, our true self, let's ask, who am I? And what is my purpose? Who am I? So we're just leaving those questions hanging. And we're going to go down to the upper part of our stomach, just under the rib. Still on the left-hand side. And another fundamental question we'll ask to our higher self, our bigger self, from our small individual self. Am I my own master? So am I the master of myself? Or am I just doing what I think I'm meant to do, what others expect of me? And do I even know if what I'm doing is the right thing or not? So now we're taking that same hand down to the hip area. So this is adjacent to where our Kundalini is, in that triangular bone that Madhav was telling us about. And just asking here for the information about ourselves and the answer to all our questions. So we're asking our Mother Kundalini, Mother, please give me the knowledge, the true knowledge of myself, my real self, my higher self. So this is our pure desire to know ourselves, to realize who we are and what we are. Just say that a few times, a few more times. Please give me the true knowledge of myself. And then coming back up to the top of our stomach. Just keep your hand flat and firm on your stomach on the left-hand side there. And with our Kundalini now rising and awakened, we can confirm and answer that question. I am my own master. Because she's going to give us all the information we need and the knowledge. I am my own master. Let's come back up to the heart. I am the pure spirit. I am the pure spirit. So don't think about it, but just try to say that to yourself a few more times. I am the pure spirit. Now, to help our Kundalini rise up further, we have to go up to this neck. Between the shoulder and the neck is a center here called the Vishuddhi. Don't have to learn that Sanskrit word just yet, but some of you may already know that. And if we feel guilty and we squeeze this center, and it's very hard for the Kundalini to go through, or for very many strands to get through. So simply we can say that Mother, I'm not guilty. Mother Kundalini, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. A few more times. Don't think of anything, just affirm to yourself. Mother Kundalini, I am not guilty. Now we'll come up to this Agya center, the brain center, and just bending your head a little bit into the palm of your hand. Here, this center, we'll say the affirmation that I forgive. Mother Kundalini, I forgive everyone. Whatever has happened, in general, I forgive everyone. And very importantly, I forgive myself. I forgive. And from the back of this center, we can say the same thing. If we tilt our head back, so it's the round ball of the back of your head in the palm of your hand. And we can simply say, Mother Kundalini, if I've made any mistakes, please forgive me. Just let everything go. And coming up to our 7th chakra, pressing the palm of your hand, the center of the palm of your hand, onto the top of your head, that fontanelle bone area, the fountain area. It's the soft part when you were a baby. And just massage the scalp by rotating it. And here's where you ask for your self-realization and for strengthening your self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please strengthen and establish my self-realization. So if you've already done this a few times, you'll want to establish and strengthen your self-realization so that more strands of Kundalini can rise up through our subtle energy system and connect with that all-pervading energy, which is the energy of divine, that's just waiting to connect with us. So just raising the hand, and you can feel it as a subtle breeze. It might be hot, or it might be cool. Could be very close, and it could be far away. Just have a little feel. Bring that right hand down. Try with the left hand, so you can bring it close, raise it up a little bit. And just see if you can feel that Kundalini, even a few strands, you may still feel that. And keeping your attention up there where you've just been feeling. Bring the two hands open on your lap. So when you get your self-realization, you start to feel in your hands first the Kundalini energy itself in general as a cool or warm feeling. And you can feel also the state of all of your chakras and energy centers on your fingers. So that's the knowledge that comes to you. Can be immediately, can be after a few meditations. But the minimum of minimum, you feel a little bit peaceful and relaxed inside. So just touch again the top of your head with your hand, raising your hand up, and keeping your attention up there. So that's where you're feeling. It's a feeling rather than a thinking. Try to feel the breath, the heart. And not this thought. If any thoughts come, just answer them with not this thought. Not this thought. Come back to the top of your head. The feeling of your spirit in your heart at the top of your head. And that gap between the thoughts. That's our first meditation. We'll slowly open our eyes. We'll have another meditation in a little bit. But just recall, note how you're feeling inside and on your hands. And might take us a little further into feeling good about that. Do you want to show us how to raise the Kundalini with just the hand movements?
So,
and maybe a bit of balancing?
Yeah, so we can, while we do the raising the Kundalini first, and when you say raising the Kundalini, what we mean is that we're just going to do a short version of the process we did before you get into meditation. So you can get into meditation, and then you'll do the same thing when you finish. And it's just a kind of like a short form. It's a short form.
A short form of self-realization.
Self-realization. So what you'll do is you put your left hand in front of you, with palm facing you, and you'll get your right hand and you revolve it around your left hand, and then you'll raise it up to the top of your head. So it mimics what we just did before, and then you'll tie a knot because you want to tie the Kundalini energy to the top. And you do that once, and then you do it again, and this time you tie 2 knots. 1, 2, and then you do it a third time, you tie 3 knots. And as people might have already guessed, when we're using our left hand, as before, that's the side of desire. When using the right hand, that's the side of action. So it's just what we did before, but short. And then with our right hand, we're going to do a bandhan, which is like, it's an extra step, and it involves giving yourself a bit of protection with that cool breeze that you felt when we put our hand on top of our heads at the end. So all we do is we keep our left hand on our lap and our right hand on top of it. We make a half circle and we come back. And that's 1, and we do that 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And people are probably wondering why 3 and 7.
Yeah.
And as we said before, they're 3 channels.
Mhm.
And if you count the energy centers on that chart, they're 7, with the Sahasrara, the top one, being the 7th. And I think go back a step, right? Because when you said feeling is very important, and you want to feel cool on your hands because that's a good feeling. Whereas when you feel hot, it means that something's being worked out. Something in those energy centers is moving. There's an obstruction and it's causing friction and heat. But you want it to be nice and cool as it rises. So with the aim at the end to being in meditation. So we're just going to do a bit of a process to help you get into meditation. And all that involves is putting your left hand on your lap and your right hand down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And you're probably wondering why. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take all the obstructions out of our left side, out of that kind of emotional side, out of our left side to our right hand into the earth, because we're using the earth as an element, because it cools us. And so, it clears those obstructions. And so all you can do is you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just feel your left hand and feel your right hand and feel your left hand and your right side. And we're going to ask that mothering Kundalini energy again. Just ask her, Mother Kundalini, you can say this to yourself, or you can inside. Mother Kundalini, please take all the obstructions out of my left side to my right hand to the earth. You can say it once or 3 times, or as many times as you feel necessary. But just try and keep yourself thoughtless and try and stay in that same space you had when we did the realization process. Just take a deep breath again and feel your left hand and your right hand. And if a thought comes, just say, not this one. Just keep your attention at the same time at the top of your head. We might just come back and you can kind of feel quickly on your hands because now that you've got your realization, you've done the realization process, you can feel how your inner being, those inner parts on that chart are feeling on your hands. And I think on another time we'll talk about which is which, but right now we're just going to do a left and a right, and you just feel to yourself when you close your eyes. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, just feel on your left side. Does it feel hot or cool or cold? Just feel. When you're at home, when you do this another time, you can do that same thing again. You can just put your left hand on your lap and your right hand to the ground. Then you're probably thinking, well, what happens if I'm feeling very excitable and irritable and kind of hot? Well, we just do the opposite. We put our left hand behind us, the palm facing behind us. And what we're doing now is we're going to ask that Mother Kundalini to take all the obstructions out of our right side to our left hand into the air. And as before, another deep breath and close your eyes. Just feel your right side and your right hand and your left hand and your left side. And ask the Mother Kundalini, please take all the obstructions out of my right side through my left hand to the air. Just be silent. If the thought comes, just let it go. We just might try and be silent for a minute or two. We can just put our left hand on our lap again. So I think, I don't know, I know you did, but when I'm at home, I often start with my Kundalini Bandhan, that process we did just before.
Yeah.
And then I see how I feel. Am I kind of very emotional, or am I a bit right-sided? You know, has someone told me often I'm feeling bad about it, or have I, been drinking lots of coffee? And then you just kind of see how you feel.
You've had lots of meetings.
Lots of meetings, yeah.
Rushing things to do.
But you see how you feel. So you can get in that center line, which you call the center.
Because, like if you're not feeling, then you can go by, well, I was busy and I was getting reactionary and so then you can just naturally know, even if you're not feeling. But feeling is good because you might think you're one way, but when you feel, you go, oh, it's actually a bit different to what I thought.
Yeah.
So if you get to the feeling part, that's probably helpful.
It's very helpful. And there's no stress if it doesn't happen right away. It'll happen, as you said, over time. And once you get it, you can just see how you feel. And sometimes you feel great and you go like, okay, well, I'm just going to meditate. And you can do the process we did just before, the raising the Kundalini, and just sit and meditate.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. And we'll do it again, but I think we got to talk by...
We have got an excerpt of Shri Mataji talking about what is self-realization and, how we are once we're realized souls, which is what you're called now, that you have your self-realization. We can, that's about 8-minute excerpt.
Sure.
There.
Yeah.
And we can have our next meditation after that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. Yeah.
Should we play that now?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll make it bigger.
So here what happens that when the Kundalini rises, when she goes to the Agya Chakra, which represents, as you say, the third eye, whatever you may call it, it is between the optic chiasma and it looks after the pituitary and the pineal body. And as a result, we have developed two institutions called ego and superego. The ego is the one which tells us, I have done it, I am doing this. Both these institutions are sucked in by the enlightenment of this center. And that's how the thing opens out. And all your karmas are sucked in. So there's no problem of karmas. Only human beings think that they are doing karmas. Animals don't. They have no sense of sin or anything. They are completely under the bondage of God. So in Sanskrit they are called as pashu, means under the bondage. But we are the ones who have got freedom. And that's why we think that we have done this and we have done that. We should not do this, we should not do that. But when the Kundalini rises and she awakens the center, then both these things are sucked in. And when they are sucked in, then you do not do any karmas anymore. You just are in a karma. You do everything. I mean, I travel, such a lot, and I have a family, and everything is there. But it's just happening. I'm just seeing it. I'm not doing anything as such. So when you are also awakened, there's no obligation. It's just happening. It is so. Is here where we should understand this center is bestowed upon by the great life of Christ. Christ is there. And they said that he died for our sins, died for our karmas, is a fact. Because when he is awakened, these two institutions are pulled inside. And you get your Kundalini out there. It opens out. And this bone, which has been calcified, opens out. And the Kundalini pierces through. And this is what it is that he died for our sins. But still the theory is extended that we must suffer. Why should we suffer? He has suffered for us already. And is already written by Thomas, who was traveling to India via Egypt, where he wrote the treatise, and he said that why should we suffer? Christ has already suffered for us. And he's talked everything about Sahaja Yoga. He said it is an experience of self-realization and everything. And that book now is out in England. After 48 years, they could decode the whole thing, which was found about 48 years back in Egypt, and is out now, and is beautiful. Gnostics is the name of the book, but is not so much appreciated by some of the people because it challenges the theories of sufferings and confessions and all this nonsense. Me or you? You cannot awaken yourself. You see, you have to have one enlightened candle to enlighten another candle. This candle, which is not enlightened, cannot enlighten itself. But there's no obligation. But you can correct. Once it is awakened, you can correct it, you can develop it. First, only few hair-like strands of this energy come up and open the fontanelle bone area. And then this flow of Ru starts flowing on you, and it relaxes more of the centers. So more of these strands start coming up. So you can develop it at your will by understanding it. But you cannot enlighten yourself by yourself.
When she meditates, she has great difficulty in maintaining total awareness. Why is this difficult?
Because it's not Sahaja meditation. All other meditations are artificial. You are in meditation when you are in such. Unless and until Kundalini is awakened and you are one with the divine power, still thinking all the time, how can you stop thinking? There is one thought that rises and another thought that falls off. Again another thought comes up and it falls off. It goes on like this, and we are dancing on the cusp of these thoughts. In between the thought there's a little space called as Vilamba, is the present. Either we are in the past or in the future. But that is only possible when the Kundalini comes up, then these thoughts become more lean and there's a bigger space left and you remain in thoughtless awareness. And that is how it works out. That's in the meditative mood you are all the time. You don't have to meditate because you are in thoughtless awareness. As soon as you see something extremely beautiful, extremely joy-giving, or a personality who is a realized soul, or anything that's so righteous and good, immediately become thoughtless. Immediately. It happens. You don't have to do it. Don't have to be in meditation, you just become. I've seen these days there are many children who are born, who are realized souls. And just I've seen them sitting before me, just sitting, not moving, nothing, just in meditation. Your pupils dilate and you start feeling the cool breeze in your hand. Even if you meet someone, it happens. If he's a realized soul. It's very interesting. There was a poet in India who was himself a tailor, and he went to see somebody who was a potter. Both were realized souls. And the potter was busy with his clay, you see, trampling it with his feet. When he saw this tailor, saw this potter, he looked at him, went into thoughtless awareness. And he said that, the poetry is so beautiful, he says, I came to see the nirguna, meaning the formless, That is the vibrations. I came to see that. But that is in person here. Such appreciation is not possible unless and until you are a realized soul. We always see the defects of a person. But such a deep appreciation of another personality is only possible when you are a realized soul. And then you are amazed how you are surrounded by such beautiful people.
There's a message there. Take us into a meditation.
Yeah, no, that sounds very easy. Sounds very nice as well.
I'll just find some music for you.
So what we're going to do is we're going to try and reach the same state we felt before. So feel relaxed and peaceful and calm and thoughtless. And so what we're going to do, we're going to make it very easy. We're just going to get comfortable and put our hands on our lap, both facing upwards. Take off any glasses or shoes or anything like that. Close your eyes. Take one big deep breath. Another deep breath. While we're meditating, some music might come on just to help us relax, but take another deep breath. And then with our right hand, we're just going to place it, palm upwards in front of the base of our spine, just a little bit out. And we're going to raise it, and just keep our attention where it is. And you're going to raise your hand. With your attention, imagine you're raising that mothering energy along the base of your spine. Just put it on top of your head. And we're going to do it 3 times. 2 more, but you can do it 7 if you want. Just enough times. And that's 2. Just raise it again. Let it slowly and gently follow the path of your spine. Right on top of your head, on your Sahasrara. Just let it sit there for a bit. So you keep your attention right on top of your head. You don't have to think of it or imagine it, just let it sit there. And if a thought comes, you just let it go. Just be detached from it. You witness it, you watch it, and it just comes and goes. You don't think about what you have to do or what you've done, just think about where you are. Sorry, don't even think at all. And if you get distracted, you can just raise your attention and raise that mothering kundalini again. So keep your attention on the music. Just let it sit. Give yourself some peace. And if you get distracted, just raise the Kundalini energy again. And take a deep breath. Just let all the thoughts go, let them go by. And just open our eyes again. You can compare how you felt on your hands and on the top of your head with the first time you did it. And sometimes the first one's better, and sometimes the second one's better. But as long as you keep on doing it, it gets better every time. And you feel better every time, which is a really important thing. Don't know how you feel.
Feels better for me.
Feels better? I think the first one was better for me. But it changes. Sometimes it's better. It's different for everyone, and it always gets better.
Yeah.
And I think we can finish by raising the Kundalini and the Bandhan again. So we'll put our left hand in front of us and we'll revolve our right hand around it to the top of our head and tie a knot once. And do it again and tie a knot twice. And tie a knot 3 times. And then as before, we put our right hand on our left, make a half circle and come back, and that's 1. And we do that 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then see how you feel again.
Nice.
And just try and do that once a day if you can for 5 minutes. I like to do it before I go to sleep and just after I wake up, because that's when I'm least distracted.
Yeah, same. First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning, last thing at night. And if you're ever feeling stressed or kind of antsy at work, or if you're feeling a bit down because you've been told off or you're overtired, you can just do it quickly for 5 minutes. You can find a quiet corner or go for a walk, and you can do it while you walk.
Good tip.
It's a good tip. Yeah. But that's it, I think. I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, if you have any questions or anything you want to share, as per usual, feel free to, you can unmute even if you're on Zoom and you have a question. But in the meantime, we will put some music of a concert so you can continue on meditating. And those who want to chit-chat, feel free on the chat line. And thank you very much for joining. I will remind that we do have a daily meditation that you can use. So, basically you just want 5 minutes where you've risen your Kundalini and you sit for some time. You want to get that silence between the thoughts. So we've got short excerpts of Shri Mataji's talks. We've got people leading the meditation, telling you what to do. We've got some of them are just music or, written excerpts that you can read. It's just a short 8 or 10 minute meditation if you find that more beneficial. It's optional, of course. And there's 2 sides going forward. So it's the balancing yourself, getting yourself into the state, but actually being in the state is the super important part. So it's a double thing. But thank you for joining us. We will talk more about that next week. Hope you can join us for a meditation next week as well. And enjoy the music and feel free to share. Good night all.